Hi everyone, I'm Marissa McDonald, but I go by Rissy, and I'm a second year student here at Claflin University. I have a double major in mass communications and biology with a minor in chemistry and a concentration in journalism. And today I'll be walking through my final exam for my sound production course that I took this semester. The exam was to recreate a scene from the film Little Children. It was a 2006 film, and to recreate it in a digital audio workstation. I've gotten very familiar with Adobe Audition in this course through different podcasts and assignments we've done, and so that's the workstation I chose to use for this as well. In this video, I will first do a run through of the audio workstation with the edits that I made, with some commentary about those edits, and then I'll do a run through without my commentary just so that you're able to hear the full track as well. And so without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so now that you're able to see my full screen, I'll be going through some of the edits and processes that I took to make this multi-track system. This will include edits to the voice recording as well as the music track and some sound effect, or a sound effect that is included later on. I'll note that this is not a comprehensive tutorial of Adobe Audition. However, I will again be showing you just some of the things I've picked up along the way and how I created this particular system, multi-track. To begin, I want to first point out the music track, which is this one here in this track 2. There's two pretty basic things that are going to be really key and essential with the music track. The first and most important one being to adjust the audio level. So in this particular case, it ended up being negative 33.7 decibels. This is not intentionally a precise number, but once you play around and get your audio to the level you like, it just comes out how it does. I will show you though, if I brought this back up to just about 0 dB, you can see how much louder this music track would be in comparison to the voice track. I'm going to skip ahead to about right before the voice just so you can hear how overpowering that music does end up being. So as you can see, you really can't hear the voice track at all, even though it's here. And also, this is just a very loud track at this level. So I'm going to Control Z and bring this back to the regular level, and I'll let you hear how that sounds.
Sexual tension.
And again, you can see, well, not again, but now you can see that the audio seems the music is lower and you can hear the voice clearly, which is what you want to hear most predominantly. As I mentioned, the second thing that I did with this music track is that I wanted to include a fade. And so this yellow line is representative of the fade that I did for this track. This is the fade in. And so to do that, at first you'll see it just over here as this square. And you can pull it in and have it fade in as little bit or as much as you may want it to avoid the nitpickiness of that. I'm just going to Control Z and bring us back to what I decided to do. And this is going to fade in and come to its peak a little bit before the audio starts, or the voice rather starts. And again, there's a fade out at the end, and when we get there, I'll make sure to point that out again as well. So to get into the voice track, I'm going to go ahead and start playing. There'll be a couple of points where I'll stop and point out the edit that I made there, why I made it, and then from there on, at those moments, I will solo that track so that you can only hear the voice. That'll look like this. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into that part.
Sexual tension is an elusive thing.
Okay, so we've already come across our first edit. And what happened here is that in this voice track, we pretty much have there's an unintended pause between elusive and thing. And so, because we don't really want that gap between those two words, I've simply cut out the section where there's that pause. I made a small edit to the word thing as well, but that's not really that significant in this case. So, like I said, I'll solo it and let you hear the voice track by itself now.
Elusive thing. But
Okay, and I'll unsolo it and we can move on until we get to the next edit.
Kathy had pretty good radar for it. It was like someone had turned the knob a hair to the right.
Okay. I promise I'm not going to point out all of these edits, but this is somewhat different, so I did want to bring it up. Again, I'll solo this track. But in this case, there was a bit of a stumble in words and a mistake made. In this case, we have this particular clip that says in the right, or to the right rather. Originally, it says to the left, which was not intended, and so there's a bit of a stumbling after that. So again, I went through the similar process of just cutting out that section I didn't want and bringing it together. But you'll notice in this case, I added a fade and I also lowered the volume, which I showed earlier with the music track. The reason I did this in this case was because really because I wanted to make this a smoother transition. So a lot of the times when we make corrections to what we've said, we have the tendency to amplify our voices and make them a little bit louder than what we actually said before it. And so because of that, when this clip was first moved back a little bit, it came off a bit more, a bit louder than the words that came before it, and it was a bit more abrupt. So by making these edits, it comes across a little bit clearer. So I'll go back and play that real quick.
A hair to the right.
Oop, I took it off of solo. I'm going to play it soloed real quick, and then we'll go back to the music track included.
A hair to the right. And the radio station clicked in so loud and clear, it almost knocked her over. Once she became aware of the connection between them, it seemed impossible that she'd missed it before. On a hunch, Kathy dropped her fork.
Okay, so this is a really big moment this is a really important sound effect that happens right here in the scene where we have Kathy dropping her fork. In this case, I've introduced the voice sound, or rather the fork dropping sound effect. And first of all, we want to make sure we have it placed properly. So we have it coming right after the narrator says that the fork is dropped. Of course, we're going to have the fork drop after that. But then we're also going to have to do some slight edits to the sound effect itself because there's a little bit of background noise. And so first thing I did was I cropped the length of it. It doesn't seem like a whole lot of extra noise, but in reality it is. So again, I'm going to Control Z that, but I simply adjusted the sound there just so it would be a little shorter. And then I included a little bit of a fade in and a fade out just because I wanted it to flow just a little bit smoother. And so let's hear that again with the other tracks.
Dropped her fork in the hopes that she would catch Sarah and Brad playing footsie. But
okay, in this case, in this little pause right here, that's a little, or cut right here, that's a little hard to see. I made this cut because there was a bit too long of a pause. In this particular voice recording, most of the pauses add to the buildup that are intended for this scene. But in this particular case, the pause just went for a little bit too long. And so I just wanted to cut out a little bit of that so that would go a little smoother and a little quicker. So again, I'll play that edit.
At playing footsie, but she was mistaken.
Okay, and then just to go back, I'm going to make sure to play all of that again, all together. I'll also point out this is where we're going to get our fade out rather, from the end of the music track, and so you'll hear that as well.
Footsie, but she was mistaken.
All right. And so in this next clip, you'll be able to see or you'll be able to hear the full track with its edits all together without my commentary. But yes, those are the edits I made that really improved the flow in the effectiveness of this multi-track station system.
Sexual tension is an elusive thing, but Kathy had pretty good radar for it. It was like someone had turned the knob a hair to the right, and the radio station clicked in so loud and clear, it almost knocked her over. Once she became aware of the connection between them, it seemed impossible that she'd missed it before. On a hunch, Kathy dropped her fork, in the hopes that she would catch Sarah and Brad playing footsie, but she was mistaken.
Okay, everyone, with that, I really hope you did enjoy this video. Like I mentioned before, this wasn't meant to be a comprehensive tutorial, but nonetheless, I hope that you were able to enjoy this video and get at least something about Adobe Audition and just general audio editing from this video. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.